Smackdown Hot Takes, where I take your thoughts, your opinions, your hot takes from the previous episode of Smackdown, Raw, and or PLEs. And if they bring back WWE Jax, well, you know I'm going to do hot takes for that. Let's get going because there were some hot rounds fired at each other live yesterday. We got the FT Bale X. The Charlotte Tiffany segment had such an odd feeling. Charlotte not speaking and clearly going off script at the end, and everybody completely ignoring the fact that Tiffany said the S word on live TV. Cry face emoji. Maybe they generally don't like each other. It was a mess, but it definitely helped the feud. I think that sentence sums it up. It was a mess, but definitely helped the feud. Let's see what others are saying. Roman Reigns acknowledge me. Tiffany destroyed Charlotte. Love it. Riding with Rams. It's Tiffy time. IWC, get over it. And then there was a comment underneath from Black Rose. You do realize the IWC wants Tiffany to win and are well-known Charlotte haters, right? And then Riding with Rams. Oh, okay. They're smart then. I love that response. And then one more, and then we'll have my opinions on this. We got T-Rex Carter. Tiffany isn't ready for this, and that personal shot at Charlotte was uncalled for. I don't like either of them, nor this match, but I hope Charlotte gets a few shoot licks in for that one. I can't imagine that they planned that promo to go in that direction. It seems as though they told Charlotte not to bury her again, and Tiffany took opportunity to get a personal shot at the end because why else would Charlotte make that Ludwig comment? The whole feud can be summed up as a mean girl's name-calling spat, and I'm so over it. All right, a lot to unpack here. I think T-Rex hit it correctly. So I don't know if this was a work or a shoot. I'm going to explain those terms in case you're new to wrestling or the internet. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We all had to learn at one point. A work is when everything is, the wrestlers, they show up to work and they do their jobs. They're handed, they do what they're supposed to do. A shoot, on the other hand, is real. A shoot is when they go off script and they do whatever they want to do or go into business for themselves to make themselves look good. That is a shoot. Couple weeks back, Charlotte completely buried Tiffany. Completely buried her. Tiffany looked absolutely abysmal. And I think I'm kind of going with what T-Rex here. I wonder if he told Charlotte, hey, Charlotte, don't bury Tiffany so bad. Go out and have a segment and allow Tiffany to look good. Because if your opponent doesn't look good, there's no point in fighting your opponent. There's no point in John Cena fighting Tozawa because we all know that John Cena's going to win. And that's what Charlotte did a couple weeks. She buried Tiffany to the point that Charlotte was John Cena and now Tiffany was Tozawa. So this segment might have been trying to get Tiffany built back up, and I wonder if Charlotte was holding back, and then Tiffany went into business for herself because she started talking about Charlotte Flair's failed marriages. She did compare her to her father, but everybody does that, and it's like that's low-hanging fruit. But when she started talking about her failed marriages, I don't know, Charlotte definitely, there was a change. There was a change in her demeanor, and the crowd didn't help. The crowd jumped on it, and it was like, I've never seen Charlotte so rattled. Was Charlotte not prepared for the comments that Tiffany made? And if Tiffany went off script and they did not talk to each other beforehand, that they were going to bring up such personal information, then Tiffany is in the wrong here. You got to take care of your opponent in the ring, whether it's actually in a wrestling match or on the mic. And Tiffany bringing up failed divorces, personal stuff, that's not cool. That's not cool. And what about Andrade? Did anybody tell Andrade this was going to happen? Because Andrade and Charlotte were married. That's who she divorced from. So I don't know. I really, really hope that they had came together backstage and they were like, all right, let's do this. Let's make some money. And you can say whatever you want. And I don't care what you say, just say it. I hope that's what happened here, because if it isn't, then Tiffany made a rookie mistake in thinking she could say whatever she wants, because you can't. You cannot say whatever you want. There are boundaries. There are lines that you cannot cross. And I really, really hope that Tiffany, I hope that this was all a work and that Tiffany she came out way stronger than Charlotte was anticipating, and it knocked Charlotte off balance. Whatever the case may be, this was a mess of a segment. Everybody, I think a lot of people are saying, oh, Tiffany looked amazing here. Tiffany looked better, but I don't think she looked amazing. There were times where Tiffany seemed unsure of herself as well. And yeah, I don't know. This got me more interested. If I'm talking about it first thing in the hot takes, that means it's a pretty big deal. I usually save one of the big juicy items for the first thing in these type of videos. I would be doing the favor right now, but I did a video last night, so that's why the favor is coming second, and I'll talk about the favor in a second. But yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess of a segment. I'm sure we'll talk more, but let's get on to some other hot takes first. Zygyros, Jimmy Uso has been so stupid. At first, I thought he would win a title at Mania when he told Knight he's desperate, but now he's being whooped by Gunther for Jay. I think he's talking about this title right here because a couple weeks back, Jimmy was like, I need your title, LA Knight, so I can get to Wrestlemania. And now he's just bloodied up. I think he's not stupid. I think he just loves his brother that much that he's willing to sit out WrestleMania. He's willing to take one for the team. He sacrificed himself so Jay could be in the main event or a main event and win the title, because Jay Uso's that match, that Gunther feud was so like, I don't know, low energy until Jimmy got involved. And so Jimmy lost his opportunity now to fight for this U.S. title. But that doesn't mean you've lost your opportunity to win the title. Only Jimmy has. How can you win this title? All you got to do is comment below. You got to also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. I would appreciate it. Maybe a thumbs up. And yeah, I'll give this away. This is a replica, not a toy, and you can win it. I'm trying to quit the day job and produce wrestling content full time, so help me out by subscribing, engaging in videos, and you can win a belt. Quid pro quo. I'll ship it anywhere in the world. Free. Totally free. All right, next hot take. Madden Davis. Paul Heyman deserves an Oscar, going out every week and giving a performance of a lifetime. Since it's TV, I think he would get an Emmy, but I understand what you're saying. Oh, that was so obnoxious of me. I'm sorry. That was like, I totally just grammar Nazi'd you. So, I understand what you were saying, and I apologize for being so pretentious. Oh, well, that actually deserves an Emmy. Like, who am I? But, yeah, you're right. Paul Heyman, I didn't know he could cry on command. We got all these great actors and actresses. Naomi, Bianca, just tearing up. Paul Heyman, just looking a mess. These girls are doing a great job, and I agree with you. Paul Heyman deserves some kind of award. That's not a slammy. Comic Head. The Motor City Machine Guns are unique, and they are both somehow the Marty Jannetty of the team. That is too funny. Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels, the Rockers. Shawn Michaels going off to be huge. Marty Jannetty being the forgotten rocker. So basically, they're both forgotten. Because there's always one star and one not star. But this one's like both of them are not stars. I haven't learned their name yet. So far, I call them Marty and the other Jannetty. That is too funny. They don't even have names. Yeah, like LWO at least has Hat Guy and No Hat Guy. but the Motor City Machine Guns says No Hat Guy and other No Hat Guy. I'm sorry to all you Motor City Machine Gun fans out there, but that's good stuff. Don. Paul Heyman loves CM Punk way more than Roman Reigns. I don't know about that. It's hard. There's definitely a different relationship because Paul Heyman refers to CM Punk as his best friend, and he talks to him, and he just talks to him like normal. Yeah, he glazes him and stuff, but like they're good buddies, and they go back. But Paul Heyman almost worships the ground that Roman Reigns walks on. So I don't know. Maybe it's a different kind of love. It's a different kind of love. And the only reason why Paul Heyman is in this situation to begin with is because of his love for Roman Reigns. And I don't even think that if CM Punk didn't have this favor, that Paul Heyman would just never do it. Paul Heyman would never leave Roman Reigns if it wasn't for Paul Heyman keeping true to his word to his best friend. So I don't know who he loves more, because he's only in this predicament because of his love. Shazam Hazard, what a waste of a favor, and the fact that we got another brawl instead of explaining why Punk suddenly cares about Roman and Paul so much really grinds my gears. I said in my review last night, the favor makes sense. I don't think it's a waste of a favor. It's just the way they presented it. The buildup was, they shouldn't have built it up that high. They should have last week when it was revealed that the main event wasn't the favor, they should have instantly revealed what it was, because we had a whole week to just think of all these outlandish scenarios. And you could say, oh, well, it's your fault for building it up, but I don't agree. WWE purposely set it up for us to get hyped. And when they don't live up to the hype, that's kind of on them. Don't hype something up and then it not to be anything that good and exciting. It was obvious that's what it was going to be, and then they gave us the obvious. So it's not horrible, but not like, I mean, it didn't have to be earth-shattering, but there needed to be somewhat of a twist. But why does Punk care about the relationship with Roman and Paul? He actually doesn't. It's more about him. This journey to the main event of WrestleMania isn't about anybody but himself. And so for him to say, I want Paul on my side, it has nothing to do with hurting Roman. That's just an extra plus, a bonus. It's actually about him just wanting that, like, you know, it's a victory for him, a moral victory for himself. And that's why he's taking Heyman for him to walk him down the aisle, because that's what they dreamed about doing before he left WWE his first time round. That said, it was a letdown, but the letdown came in the presentation. They should not have hyped it up. Tis Mickey, so can we just not see Tiffany and Charlotte anymore until Mania? I'm actually kind of like with Tis Mickey on this. Like, this is like brutal TV. They go off the rails. They go completely off the rails. They are trying a little too hard here, and it's like, yeah, maybe we should just let's just see them go at Mania. Sky Wonder Wolf. I knew Paul was going to betray Roman. It's in his nature. He betrays everyone he works with, although his betrayal makes no sense. All right, so I do see a lot of people saying, oh my God, Roman got betrayed again. Why did he get betrayed? I don't understand. If you want to say you don't like what Paul Heyman did, that's fine, but how did Roman get betrayed here? It's like when people said, oh, I can't believe CM Punk betrayed Roman at the Royal Rumble. No, it's every man for themselves at the Royal Rumble. It's okay to throw your opponent over the ring. And here, Roman Reigns made a deal. He was okay with a deal when Paul Heyman and Roman made a deal at War Games for CM Punk to get a favor. So they were both okay with it. They agreed to said favor. And so then we have a segment where CM Punk looks Roman in the eyes and say, Paul Heyman is coming with me, and that's the favor. It's not like he cashed in the favor and Paul Heyman, like, he waited until a moment in a match to betray Roman. No, it was all done out in the open, face to face. He said, Paul Heyman's gonna be my guy. That was at WrestleMania. That is not, Paul Heyman agreed to this favor months ago to save Roman Reigns. There is no betrayal here. There is no betrayal. Is it awkward? Yes. Is it a little strange? Maybe. But where's the betrayal? The betrayal would be if Paul Heyman said no, because then Paul Heyman would be a liar. Roman Reigns, in the same exact interview that happened last night segment, he said, I am trustworthy. I tell the truth. I honor my word. And then he's telling Paul Heyman not to honor his word. I'm sorry, I love Roman Reigns. I absolutely love Roman Reigns, but there was no betrayal here. It was all done in the open. CM Punk said, that's my favor, and you promised me a favor months ago. I held my end of the bargain. Now I expect you to hold your end of the bargain. I don't see this as a betrayal at all. Fat Shady 72, CM Punk is an absolute jerk to put Paul Heyman in that position and cause him that much pain. What the crap? Now, that's a good argument. That's a good argument. You can say that CM Punk is a jerk for doing this. So, no betrayal, but you're still a jerk. You know, that's a fair statement. Because, you know what? Hey, if Paul Heyman is your best friend, why are you doing this to him? He has such a great spot as the wise man, why would you jeopardize that for your best friend? Why? So you can just have a moment at WrestleMania? Yeah, it's congratulations, you made it to the main event of WrestleMania. Why do you got to jeopardize your best friend's job just so you can feel good? That's a valid statement right there. No betrayal has happened, but still you're a jerk. Raphael Adair, the Rey Fenix did not disappoint. I would argue that he is better than Dragon Lee in terms of moveset. Frazier was a good opponent for his debut, but I wish it had been an established star who could afford to lose to him and put him over. Yeah, I think Nathan Frazier was an odd choice because Nathan Frazier's from NXT and not everybody knows NXT. So I think he could afford the loss, but still, I don't know. It was an odd choice. You know, Penta had Chad Gable. Chad Gable was amazing. I'm glad they didn't use Mello though, because I wouldn't want Mello to lose to him. So I don't know. It was a weird choice, but maybe it was an okay choice. I'm just going to leave it as is. It was a good debut, though. Good debut. And then we got number 2, Drew and Priest video package delivered. A trilogy between these two would be spectacular. I could see a trilogy. Maybe Drew wins. Hopefully he doesn't get rolled up. And then we get 2 more matches for the summertime. Let Drew then go on to a proper feud, a bigger feud for SummerSlam. I could see it. And then number 3, the favor that Punk owed was very underwhelming. I was hoping that it would be something that would spice up the stakes of the match, but Seth got his last laugh and on Roman, and after Roman gave Punk the main event. Yeah, it's just underwhelming. Not bad, but underwhelming. Would have been nice to have something at stake here, even a number 1 contendership, you get first shot at the title at Backlash. Shadow, the way things are shaping up, especially for the SmackDown feuds, it seems like WrestleMania 41 will be similar to WrestleMania 2000, where they're all multi-man matches. Fun fact, the only singles match was the women's title, and I think it was was it Sable versus the Cat or something like that? I don't know. It was like the worst match on the card was that, and I hated WrestleMania 2000, and yes, it's shaping up to be very WrestleMania 2000. Demon King, my hot take this week is the Motor City Machine Guns name, attire, and everything looks like both of them came up with everything when they were 12 and never changed. Yeah. Ooh, guns are cool. Let's be a tag team about guns. But Fat Shady says, as a Michigan native, I just feel they can do no wrong. Well, at least you're aware of your bias. I'm also a Michigan native, so if I'm going to do a Motor City Machine Gun, this is where I'm from. Riding with the Rams, KO injury has to be a work. Yeah, it has to be a work, right? It just has to be, and yet, if it's a work, everybody is buying it. Everybody's saying it's true now, so I don't know. I'm hoping it's not. I hope that Kevin Owens is faking it. I really hope he's faking it. All the signs, how they presented it is a fake out, but then again, they didn't have him jump Randy, so I don't know. I'm beginning to think that it's real, and props to them though. And then we have Damian King saying Randy Orton could miss WrestleMania unless he's about to fight Nick Aldis. Have they just waited on that Nick Aldis fight for a long time? Because the GM actually is a former NWA champion, so they could go at it. It would be very underwhelming of a match for Randy because he's such a, high-level superstar, but at the end of the day, if there's no feuds, there's no feuds. But yes, is Kevin Owens really injured? I don't know. Kevin Owens has been pulling that, he does stuff off camera. He attacks Cody Rhodes after the match and the cameras are over in a parking lot. So this could just be part of Kevin Owens' gimmick of doing things that are very unexpected for the dirt sheets to report, but I don't know. We'll see. Sunny Sid Hearth, Randy turns heel, joins Cena as a tag team in St. Louis at Backlash. I really hope not. I want to see John Cena in a lot of singles competition. Mafu, I think Fraxium should be called up after WrestleMania and put on Raw. Probably. They've done everything they could on us. In NXT, they're probably ready. Bailey Rhodes, what a great show, but next week is going to be better since Bailey is in the gauntlet. Yes, it'll be the best show of the year. Bailey will be on Smackdown again for Bailey Rhodes. Also, the worst people on the show tonight were hands down Punk and Roman. They made Paul cry and put him in such a bad position. I will let a lot of things slide, but you don't hurt Paul. Justice for Paul Heyman. Wow, Paul Heyman has a fan out there. That is like you should see. Bailey, I don't know, I think you're pretty new to wrestling, but Paul Heyman, historically, for his entire career, everybody has always wanted to see people beat up and hurt Paul Heyman, and now it's just weird to see people actually starting to be like, I love Paul Heyman. Don't hurt his feelings. So I love that, though. I love that. And Quad Poll, I apologize if I got your name wrong. Hot take, this SmackDown was more boring than an episode of The Simpsons. I actually enjoyed this episode, but like, for real? Okay, that is like, I love that insult. That is a great insult right there, because The Simpsons have sucked for, what, 20 years now? How can a show go for 20 years and suck? Oh my god, that is so funny. That's so funny. I like this episode of SmackDown. I gave it 4 out of 5 chops, but that is so hilarious. Negligence. The favor shouldn't have been built up if it was going to be so obvious. Correct, 100%. That's what ruined the favor. They built it up too much because it was so obvious. Seth is feeling more and more like a third wheel. Yeah, totally. I agree with you. And Punk can't do anything that Roman hasn't done for him. I get that he has an ego, but, like, is he wrong? That's valid. That's valid. Everything that Punk has really wanted, it's because of Roman. Roman got it for him. He saved Paul Heyman and is jealous. They should have just left Seth out and made it custody of Paul Heyman match or something. Yeah, this did not need to be a 3-way. So he's basically saying they should have just left Seth out of the entire match, and it could have been Punk versus Roman, one-on-one, custody of Paul Heyman. That would have, yeah, that's what they should have done. On a pole. Put Paul Heyman on a pole. Southpaw Jimmy, Penta's and Phoenix's debut weren't nearly as impressive as Dragon Lee's. I thought Penta's was very impressive, but you know, Dragon Lee's was good too. You know, it's all about taste and choice and opinion, but I really liked Penta's. K Dizzle, another nothing burger of a show. They need a new booker. So there are people who did not like yesterday's show for sure. TTJC, I hope they put Paul Heyman's contract on the line at Mania and Seth wins it. First and last time I will ever root for Seth. Yeah, let's do something. That would be kind of cool though. It's like we just keep seeing Roman and Punk trying to get the contract, and then Seth just swoops in and wins. I can see that, you know, bring back the architect, this mad genius, Seth Rollins, who plots and schemes to victory. KB, can someone tell me why Tiffany and Charlotte can't keep coming out each week dressed alike? I'm not feeling the mirroring they are doing. I miss seeing Tiffany in her pink, and Charlotte should be dressed like a queen attire. They literally look like mother and daughter every week. It's not helping at all. And I agree. KB brought this point up actually in the live stream, because at first I was like, I don't really care what they look like, other than I wanted them to dress different. But she makes a point. If Charlotte's going to call herself the queen, then she needs to dress like a queen. She needs to have these grandiose outfits. It would just definitely add to her character. So, and they gotta be different. That Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca, they were always dressing the exact opposite. One was in white, one was in black. The other was in black, the other was in white. And they need to do that here. And maybe they don't have to be so polar opposite, but just have Tiffany in pink. Nothing really goes with pink. So whether or not Charlotte is in white, blue, green, red, well, maybe not red, but black. She could be in any other color. Just keep Tiffany in pink. It's her gimmick anyways. Why are we trying to make them look alike? Because what we need to do is separate them. They need to be not just, they can't be mirroring each other. I 100% agree with you, KB. And Hathaway rules. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? This promo tonight was the moment that Tiffany Stratton became Heisenberg. Heisenberg from Breaking Bad, the moment where the good guy becomes this villain. Tiffany has now become the villain. Or maybe not the villain, but like the cool villain protagonist, but still a dastardly villain. Juco Am edits. Montez Ford should be in the Jey Uso spot. Main event Montez. I could see that, actually. I could see that. K-Rock, Roman did nothing wrong. I disagree. Even though CM Punk was a jerk for putting him in the situation, like Fat Shady said, if your if Paul Heyman wants to go and manage CM Punk and honor the favor, how are you gonna get the guy up in that guy's face? If I had a banker who was suddenly like, I can't really give you services anymore. I gotta give that guy service. I can't just get up in the banker's face and be like, no, you serve me. You just can't do that. So I think Roman was wrong, but still, I think he was just mad and hurt, more likely. Joe Linton, Tiffany Charlotte's segment was personal. I like Tiffany, but man, don't attack others' real-life problems. Same for Charlotte. Anyway, I want Tiffany to win. And finally, I love you Solo. That's, pretty much everything I've already said. So we're in agreement there, Joe. Rolanda Lynch, the only match for WrestleMania I'm interested in is Naomi versus Jade. Honestly, that's probably one of my most hyped matches too, because Naomi's character work has been so freaking amazing. And yeah, it's just weird. Sometimes we just complicate wrestling. It's not that hard. Why do we look forward to Jade versus Naomi? Just this almost if you really think about it, all the names that are involved, it's like Jade versus Naomi should be a forgotten match. And yet, because of Naomi's character work, we're all looking forward to it. That's all we need. Just character work. Just have compelling characters fighting each other for legit reasons. We know why Jade is mad at Naomi. It makes sense. Book it. And everybody's like, yeah, I want to see that. And Naomi's such a great character, and Jade presents herself in such a way that everybody's like, yeah, I want to really see that. And so it's just like, oh man, wrestling is not hard. Just follow the formula you did for Naomi and Jade, and you have a banger of a WrestleMania. Dreamer OG, hot take. I think they should add a stipulation to Jade versus Naomi match. Cage seems more reasonable to the violence that Jade was put through. She needs that with the win. I could see a cage match, but not at Mania. Let's let this feud actually go on. Let's have them have 3 matches. 3 matches, and maybe the third one can have a stipulation. I don't think we need to end this feud here. Macho Chavez, hot take. I thought Phoenix was Curry Man at first. Curry Man from TNA. Oh, Curry Man. Oh, Curry Man. If you don't know, Google TNA Curry Man. Some lonely dude. I think Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu will turn on Solo, as Solo has now cost both of them wins in matches by interfering. Ooh, that's interesting. I wasn't thinking of a Tama Tonga turn. I'm thinking Solo's going to turn on Jacob at Mania, and he's going to do it because he outshined him. And that'd be weird, though, because then Jacob will instantly become a face after fighting LA Knight. Well, if LA Knight keeps the title, then they could do that, and then Jacob can go on and be a face, even though I like Jacob more as a heel. So I don't know. Fat Shady, I just want to really quick say that I'm reading that Kevin Owens' injury is a shoot, legit. And if that's the case, I want to wish him a speedy recovery. Yeah, if it's real, speedy recovery. If it's not, awesome storytelling. So I don't know. And then finally, Tiz Mickey. For the past 2 Manias, it felt like Seth has been a third wheel in someone else's feud. That's a very good point. I love your observations, Tiz Mickey. Like, you point out things that I'm not picking up on. He has been a third wheel in other people's feud. Cody's feud, and now Punk and Roman's feud. Only thing is, this time, I think it'll work out in his favor, and he'll win because Roman and Punk will be too focused on each other and Paul. You know what? I'd be okay with that. Honestly, I'd be okay with that. I love all 3. And it would be, storyline-wise, it would make sense for Seth to win, because exactly everything you said is legit. And so we're just going to end it on that, on a legit statement by Tiz Mickey. Appreciate every single one of you. Please comment below and be here for more hot takes and more videos. Tomorrow I'm going to do a video on me ruining WrestleMania, unless I do a Kevin Owens video. I'm not 100% sure yet, but boys, girls, have yourselves a great day.